Hello, Brain Tumor Companion community, and welcome to the 300th Brain Tumor Zoom support group. I can't believe this milestone has been hit. 300 groups in 5 years, a little over 5 years' time, is really exciting, and I'm super thrilled to be here to share it with all of you today. So, for the viewers that will be listening in on our little private Zoom conversation today, we're excited to share with you a little bit about what it's like to be in a Zoom room with us. This is a peer-to-peer support group. This is not medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. I am a patient on this journey, as is everybody in this room today. For those of you looking at our names on this grid, you will see a number next to it, and that is how many groups that particular person has participated in. Some people join these support groups once a year, others every single week, and everything in between. So we welcome you to join us if you're interested. I also welcome caregivers, friends, family, and even the medical professionals. Our goal is to build community and to share stories, to educate and advocate for one another, and to fill in the gaps for all of the things that we end up not knowing on this journey. So welcome everybody. So nice to have you here today and really excited to celebrate this special session with all of you. So whenever we have a new person join our Zoom support groups, I always go through a list of questions so that they can quickly get caught up to see who's in the room and what we all kind of struggle with and where we're at with this condition. So by raise of hands, everyone in the room, who here is post-surgery, whether it was a craniotomy or some kind of nasal surgery? Okay, perfect. And who is on watch and wait, even if you're on watch and wait post your craniotomy or you have a recurrence? Okay, got it. And who has done radiation in this room? All right, about half of you. Who has a cancer diagnosis, whether stage 2 to 4, but a cancer diagnosis? All right. Who would say you're doing well overall? All things considered, you're actually doing pretty well. Okay. And who is struggling really daily with deficits and concerns and issues and worries and recurrence and all of the things? All right. Let's go through some just topics of what we might suffer from. Who is suffering from pain, whether it's pain from the craniotomy or some other type of pain? I know for me, it's daily knee pain. All right, got it. And how about depression? Who's depressed? Who's sad? Who is really just not feeling great? Okay. How about anxiety? Who's nervous and anxious about this condition and other things in life? All right. How about PTSD, medical or personal trauma? Anyone dealing with trauma? Okay. How about seizures? Seizures most likely related to this condition or the reason you found out about this condition. Okay. Sleep issues. Who's sleeping too much or too little or, something in between, taking too many naps? How about sadness? Who cries in the shower alone? Who cries in the car alone? Who can cry at any commercial, any song? I feel ya. How about anger? Who's a little upset and ticked off that this is kind of where you ended up and you think, why me? Why am I in this club? I don't want to be here. And how about fatigue? Who's feeling that neuro fatigue level 5,000 that just, where did this come from? Yeah, I mean, this is like 100%. And memory loss. Who forgets words? Who forgets why they walk in a room? Wonders where those keys are all the time. My cell phone when it's in my hand. Yeah. Okay. How many of you are on 4 or more medications currently? Okay. And how many of you actually like your care team? Believe that the care team you have is paying attention, even if they're not really giving you much attention. They at least are paying attention. Who's lost friends over this? Who's lost friends? Who's lost family? Who doesn't necessarily have the same relationships they had before? And who's sick of doctors? Who has more doctors in their phone in the D section than they do friends? Because I know that D section is long. Doctor so and so, doctor so and so. Who's still able to drive? Who is still driving? Okay. And who feels alone? Who feels like it doesn't matter who asks me how I'm doing or tells me I look great? Nobody quite gets what this is all about. All right. Thank you all for that. And for the viewers today, hopefully that is some insight as to the things that we all kind of feel and go through. And now we'll just hop into some topics that we want to address today. And I'm going to start with Miss Maria, who has joined 77 sessions with us. Been so lovely getting to know you over the years. You want to talk a little bit about your question and your topic for today?
Yeah, my question is something that has been there, but just I've spent the last 3 days in my pajamas in a recliner. So it's kind of one of those times where it hits me hard. So the question is, when the going gets really tough, because I'm used to just be able to power through anything prior to craniotomy, but now when the going gets tough, you got all this deficit. So what motivates you to keep going and how do you keep going?
By raise of hands, does anyone have a comment or an answer for that? Don't all jump up at once. I think it's hard because a lot of us probably feel the same way and we don't have much to give. Kelsey.
I guess what motivates me is, I'm a Christian, so I mean, I don't know what everyone's religious beliefs are, and I'm a Christian, I was a strong Christian up until this point, and I know, I recently shared my story with the church that I posted on our Facebook page, but yeah, I was faced with this diagnosis, and I'm like, okay, God, what now? So that kept me going. I was pretty active in the gym, and I'm thankful that all those people at the gym that were rooting me on. My motto, which some of the personal trainers at that gym that I was going to at the time would always say, "You're tiny but mighty." You're tiny, yeah, but man, you're strong. So that I'm thankful I had those group of people that like cheered me on. And after the surgery, when I was cleared to go back to the gym, they're standing like far away, watching me walk on a treadmill, and I'm like, dude, I'm fine, but I mean, that kept me going. And, thankfully, most of my friends, never left me. And I'm really sad for you folks who had friends that left you. I mean, that breaks my heart. I really only had maybe one or two people that kind of just like backed away. I don't know if they were scared or whatever, but I mean, that motivated me. And I'm not sure, how strong, if anyone has a religious belief, like how strong you are in that faith. I mean, that kept me going. And I had supportive parents, thank God, that I'm sure everyone's parents would be supportive in this. I don't know if that helps you or not.
Anyone else care to share what maybe keeps you going or what motivates you, John?
I told my wife when this happened, I said that would have I almost died. They say that I did pass away and then they brought me back and so I coded or whatever you want to call that. And told my wife it would have been a good time to go, but they brought me back and then, a month in the hospital up there and a month here in Rockford and then in-home PT and everything. And, I was able to walk my daughter down the aisle to get married and she's had a baby and walk my son down the aisle and he's had a baby or his wife had a baby. And then my son, who I'm going to see tomorrow in Madison or tonight in Madison, they're having a baby in November. So, I mean, family and wanting to be a grandfather and to help and to, you know, uh, back to my church, by the way, my wife was in a hotel near the hospital, and she never paid for one night stay there, and she was there 32 days. And that was because people from our church stepped up and they said, "Is John Sentovich still there?" And she said, when she said yes, they said, "Put 2 days on my credit card," or whatever, So that was a wonderful way for, to build more community for us. It was certainly helpful to us, and we got a ton of support. And
Community is really important. And I know for me, what keeps me going, obviously, is this beautiful community and getting to know all of you. But
I say one more
sometimes,
thing.
yeah.
Angel, thank you to Maria. Maria motivated me when I was sharing with her about my sore knee. because she was sharing about her pain, and we were exchanging pain texts. And she said, go see a doctor. And I did the next day, Maria. I got a shot, gave me a shot on my knee. And I would say it's about 50% better. It's not 100%. It's still pain, but it's better. So thank you for suggesting that.
Yeah. You bring up such a good thing, John. That's also the beauty of this group is how often things come up. We learn just about life and things we can do and what we should do based on all of our shared experiences. And so for all those reasons, it's so valuable. Did anyone else want to share about kind of what keeps you going, what motivates you? Is it a job? Is it your children? Is it your spouse? Is it your community, your church, or just your sheer drive to survive, right? To live? Sherry.
Yeah, mine is my job. I know on my days off that I'm in bed almost all day on my days off, I notice, and not doing anything. I isolate myself. I make my room really dark. And so I always, my mind thinks it's nighttime all the time. So I can go in there and I sleep pretty much all day when I have my days off. I know not a lot of people are still working, but those of us that are, I'm self-employed. So I kind of have the luxury of going in when I want to go in because of fatigue. I can't get up and go, early to work, but I do go in later. If I didn't have my job, I think I would be in my pajamas every day, all day. And there's no one really coming in to check on me all the time. So I'm not having to show up for anybody. So those days I can kind of isolate myself completely, turn off the phone. And it's not good for us, but I do that as well. So I can relate to that. And then I also became new into a church, and they pretty much make sure that I'm accountable for, that I'm showing up for myself. And I get to be baptized on Saturday, so that I'm showing up for that. Well, tomorrow actually, be baptized.
Nice.
And so they've really made sure that I show up for myself. So joining back to your church or a new church or something such as that does help as well.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Nice. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to comment before we move to the next topic? Okay. All right. So the next topic is John's. It's about fatigue. So John, you want to ask your question or talk about why this is frustrating for you?
Well, as many of you know, I've told my wife that when it comes to fatigue, I'm either tired or really tired. I'm always tired. Right now, I could go to sleep, right? I could go to sleep at 1 in the afternoon or at 9 at night. I'm just always tired. And I know part of it's, the surgery. Part of it's I can't exercise like I wish I could. I think my knee is as bad as it's ever been because I've been trying to walk more, but I just don't get enough sleep, and I'm on a sleep aid, and I occasionally take a little sleep gummy to get to, help me get to sleep. And I sleep. I usually wake up 2 or 3 times to use the restroom. So I hate that because then it's hard to fall back to sleep. I usually do. And, but it's just the fatigue is overwhelming. I tell when people ask how you doing, I say, well, I'm tired, fatigue, and vertigo. That's the new normal. So I just wish I could exercise more because I think I'd feel better physically and probably sleep better. Probably the best thing I could do for myself when it comes to sleep is diet. I cheat occasionally, and I like those of you know me know I like bourbon, and my mom was a chocoholic, so I'm going to blame that on her. I love chocolate too. I love ice cream. So I mean, I don't eat it all the time, but I sometimes cheat. I know that's not good for me. I tell you, if I was more like Brenda, I'd probably sleep like a bear. But
She
Brenda,
does sleep great.
you
I know,
inspire me,
I've shared
Brenda.
hotel
But
rooms
I
with her.
just, like coffee. I'm drinking coffee. I shouldn't probably drink coffee now. What time is it? 11:30. But I love my coffee too. So
Yeah.
I try to, and I'm drinking more water, Maria. That's another thing she suggested.
Yes. Anyone have I know we all talk a lot about fatigue always, but for our viewers today, Sabrina.
So for me, we can talk about fatigue, but I had to physically show my husband with the spoons. And for him, he got the big old dessert spoons that are big. For me, I got the little teaspoon things. And he got 10, I got 5. So that was physically a way. But I have all the other ailments and stuff going on. I just don't engage with people. They ask, yeah, I'm fine, because they don't really care.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't engage. The people
Yeah.
that want to know, I talk to you or ask me daily how I'm doing. Other than that, just because you want to make yourself feel better, that's not my job to make you feel better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I do spoons. And it's
Yeah.
funny because when I talked to my son, we were in Florida last week visiting my son, and we said something, and the hubby goes, "How many spoons you got?" I got 10. And my son looks at me and goes, "What do you mean spoons?" I said, let me. So I had to go home and explain to him,
Yeah.
because spoons, it's easy for us two to talk because he understands what I was showing him with the spoons.
Yeah.
He could understand,
Right.
not fully because he's not feeling it, but he could fathom what I was going through.
Absolutely. So for everybody listening in, when we say spoons, we think the average person, all of us before we had this craniotomy, we had, say, 5 or 10 really large tablespoons, and that was our energy and our gas tank for the day. And then after this, just cut it in half, period. I mean, I can genuinely say there's not been a single day since they did this craniotomy that I ever had the energy and the motivation and the focus and the clarity that I had before the surgery. And that's not to, terrify anyone listening, because we obviously all still get along and plug along and make this work for us, but it's different for sure on the other side. And it's not something people talk about much. So, for us, we're dealing with maybe 5 mini dessert spoons, whereas the average person is dealing with 10 solid big ones. And we really have to conserve our energy because it wears out much quicker than it used to. And when it does wear out, it's not like you can just drink a Coke or a Pepsi or a cup of coffee and be like, okay, I can blaze through 4 more hours. It's like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. And that neuro fatigue, I think, is what really, it burns us out. So we get tired much, much more quickly, particularly in that first year or two of recovery where the bone is healing and things are swishing around and the nerves are going crazy and there's just a lot happening. We try to race through and get better when really we just need time. Maria, your hand was up.
Yeah, I was going to say that before craniotomy and, before all this happened, I think many of us were used to powering through the tiredness and the fatigue. And a lesson that you learned the hard way out of many years is that when you power through, you end up in a crash that lasts for days, at least in my case. And it's not like I progressively became stronger as I was used to from working out or being active, that I progressively increased my level. This just kind of came to a point and it was like, that's it. No more. You don't get more spoons. You don't get more bars on your phone. And if you go past that line, you're going to go into a pain and a crash. So that's something they don't tell you and something that you learn the hard way after months of misery and trying it. And in my case, I tried to do it for well over 2.5 years before I realized this isn't going anywhere. Like, I don't seem to be getting the message. So not only am I fatigued, but I'm slow
Yeah.
getting that this
Yeah.
is
The
not
pep in the
happening.
step is gone. Yeah. That's
It, it's just, that ability to power through
mm-hmm.
fatigue, problem solving, mental focus, going, okay,
Overload.
step away, keep going. That's sort of like, type A personality. You sort of that's gone. At least for
Yeah.
me, it's completely gone. And like, it took me by surprise. And um, it took a
Agree.
lot of learning a lot of time to get that it ain't happening anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it also just changes, it alters the way you have to schedule your life and your fun. If you get time to do something, you got to be ready to be down for 2 or 3 days after because it's likely to really wipe you out. Sabrina, you had your hand up.
I was just gonna say, so I'm 12 years out now, and this is completely true that we can go through and we have that spoon for a certain period of time. But once all our spoons are gone, we either stop or we drop.
Mm-hmm.
There is no in
Yeah.
between.
There's no quick recharge.
There
There's
is no
not a
quick
reboot
recharge
for a while.
sitting in a chair. There's nothing. So, for example, just so people understand, when we were in Jacksonville visiting my son last week, we went to the Riverside Arts Market, and it's a walk around outside vendor thing, which was nice. I had a good time walking around. Went back to his house, hung out for a little while. Then we went to dinner. But at dinner, I looked at the husband and said, "Okay, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You
Time to
can,
go.
we're going in the car, and then I'm going back to the house, and I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
And I went to bed
Yep.
because you just physically hit that wall.
Yeah.
And like Maria said, there's nothing we can do, nothing we can take, nothing that'll change that wall.
Yeah.
Once I hit it, I'm done.
Exactly. Kelsey.
Yeah, my husband and I, we try to still do like the local events here. I live in Frederick, Maryland, and we try to do these local events that we've done so many times in the past. And it's there's only so much I can take. One, I'm freaking tired after a couple hours. Two, it's just so crowded that I'm more irritated. I mean, yeah, I got irritated if I'm in a crowded place, except concerts. Concerts I can handle because I'm there. I want to have fun and I love seeing the band that I'm seeing. But one of these events, Frederick, Maryland Craft Beer Festival, we get there, we're in line waiting to get in, and then after a couple hours, I'm ready to go home. And my husband's like, "Really? Come on." And I said, "I'm tired." And I said, "There's too many people." He's like, "Well, you always got irritated by crowds." I said, "And I'm more irritated because I'm tired and I'm ready to go home."
Right. And then there, with that scenario comes the level of disappointing your loved one who wants to stay out and keep raging with you because that's what maybe you used to do. And now you're like, no, I'm done. And as Sabrina said, when you're done, you're done. There's a very small window in which you need to hit the bed soon, or it's not going to be great for you, right? Like it's just gets that uncomfortable that fast. There's really no, it's just, I'm tapped out. Did I miss any hands during that, Sherry?
My fatigue is very recent. I never
Mhm.
had fatigue. I never felt the fatigue, and I never understood the fatigue after my surgery. And it's been 5 years now. And just this last 6 months, I have really been smacked in the face with fatigue. I've learned exactly what that means. And when we say fatigue, we don't mean just tired. It is like tired. It is where if you sit down, you're out. And even I've noticed that even when I'm sitting upright, I don't have to be sitting back and relaxing or anything. I can be sitting upright on the edge of my bed, and all of a sudden I find myself nodding out for no reason at all. And what I'll do is I'll nod out for like maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, and wake up, and I feel fine again. But it's almost like if I don't go to sleep at that moment, then I'm going to be going to sleep at that moment. Like I fell asleep in my other group I fell asleep during that group. I just kind of slumped over and I was out. And that's very new to me. So I'm not used to that fatigue, but it is really real. It is
Mhm.
super real. I mean,
Yeah.
and like Sabrina said, when you hit that wall, you're done. You got to
Yeah.
sit down, you got to lay down, you got to go to sleep right then.
We've
So I haven't
mentioned
touched
in
it.
so many groups before that there actually needs to be like a new word invented for whatever this tired is post the craniotomy, because it really is such a different level of tired and people don't understand it and we don't understand it. We're trying to figure it out. That's why we're in this group, right? Like, is everyone else suffering with this? Because it's just so intense and it really rocks you. Again, and once you hit that wall and you're down, you can't just wake up the next day and start fresh. You're tired for like you have to really reboot. It takes time. Maria.
I I tried to find something about it, and there is a condition called chronic fatigue syndrome, but
Mhm.
that is not what we have, because that
Right.
chronic fatigue syndrome is, I tried to get a doctor and understand and get some advice about it, is because of a kind of an infection. It can happen from a neuro, and not a neuro, but an immunological condition. So they don't treat you. So if you go there post craniotomy to see a doctor that specializes in chronic fatigue syndrome, which are few and far between, you do not meet their definition. So we're really alone in this neuro fatigue doesn't quite, because the people and that disease name, and I just want to put it out there for the people listening. Oh, you got chronic fatigue syndrome. That's not what the experts think we have, and you get shooed away from that office because they will tell you we can't help you.
Right. Right. Anyone else want to comment on fatigue or talk about their struggle or what they're doing to feel better about it? Sherry, and then Brenda, and then Sabrina.
I do want to add to that, with the fatigue thing. It's almost like when I have issues with my eyes, it isn't that my eye has a problem; it's internally that has a problem. So it's almost like our fatigue, and we do need a new word for fatigue for us, I do believe, and it's deep in us. It's
Mm-hmm.
inside the brain. It's like you cannot explain it to a doctor normally. I guess like they have to understand it's the tumor is causing me to have fatigue. The surgery is causing me to have fatigue. The
Mm-hmm.
after surgery is causing me fatigue. It's not like, oh, I'm just tired and I
Right.
have chronic fatigue. It's deeper inside your body
Mm-hmm.
than that. So it's really hard to explain it to somebody about how it feels to have this fatigue.
Agreed. Brenda.
Since my surgery, as everybody knows, I just kind of tried to push the fatigue away and tried to just continue to work out, continue to run, continue. And now I'm realizing that I think the reason I keep getting punched down is because I'm ignoring my body signals. So I'm learning that it's very important to read your body and understand your body and not try to just power through, even though you can't power through anymore. And that's new to me, and now with this new pain that I've been experiencing since the second surgery, it's really giving me life lessons, let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the body will start screaming if it needs you to take a different direction, right? And I think, so often, and you bring up a good topic, Brenda, we all try to fight to be who we were, right? We want to get healed. We want to go back to life. We want to pretend, put this behind us. It didn't happen. Everything's fine. And in many cases, everything is fine, right? There's a lot about life for all of us that is fine, and we move forward. But you can't just race back to who you were. I mean, you have to kind of give the space to respect what you've been through and to see where you're at now. As John said earlier, the new normal. We all hate that phrase because it's like, well, what the hell is the new normal? But there is truly a new normal on the other side. And it's not better or worse, it's just different. And you have to get to a place of accepting, but you really can't. The harder you fight to be who you were before, I think the more difficult you make your journey. And the sooner people can learn to just have a little grace and forgiveness with themselves and to be patient and take time to learn who they are on the other side of something like this, in the long term, I think the better off you'll end up being. Sabrina, I know you had your hand up as well.
So I just wanted to say, you're exactly right. I'm 12 years out. I still have fatigue. When this crap happens, I'm down 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
just recovering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because I'm lazy, or it's just physically my body won't let me do anything more.
Mm-hmm.
So it has nothing to do, the fatigue is the wrong word. I don't know
Yeah,
what
we need a new word. I don't know. We need to
it
invent
is
one,
not
but we need a
fatigue,
new
but that's
word.
the only word we got. So this is
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
I go out, I have fun, and I know I'm going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Know I'm going to pay for it.
Which
And
is such a bummer because it takes away a little bit of the joy of the excitement of going out to have fun. Because in my head, I'm like, how long is this fun escapade gonna be? Oh, it's 2 days? Like, oh wow, okay, I gotta rest for 3 days before I go, and I need 2 days to 3 days to recover after. I gotta warn work, like maybe I need to work from home because I'm not gonna be on my A game. I mean, our mind, we start really preparing for like how we can best take care for ourselves and conserve our energy for all the things we need to do. Whereas in the past, we used to just do it. You just wake up and go. I didn't worry about what I was going to feel like the next day. I got a good night's sleep and I usually felt fine. It's
And as
different now.
John said, we have to understand and learn the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
is a new normal, and it takes time.
Yeah,
We're all at our own pace.
absolutely.
You know, some will take 2 months, some will take 6 years. I don't know, and you don't physically know because, like Maria said, most of us are type A
Mm-hmm.
and push through, and we got to keep bringing our A game to everything.
Yeah. And the new normal changes, you know, for
That's not it.
many of us who either had 2 surgeries or a recurrence or other things that happen on the journey, other, you know, pain diagnoses that happen. The new normal keeps changing. The roller coaster is always taking a different path. And it's like, it's sometimes hard to even just level off for a long time. And then you level off and you kind of just wait for the next surprise to hit. John, I saw your hand was up.
Well, I was going to say that the reason I was a little late this morning is because I was at a children's museum in Rockford with my granddaughter and my wife, and we were there for maybe 45 minutes. And I was tired going in, but it was unbelievably crowded. You know, a lot of young little kids that are under 2, probably, or under 3. And so we were walking around and stuff. And after about 45 minutes, I could barely get to the next little thing to do. I mean, we had to go from, you know, station to station to station, and it was fun. We had a great time, but I was, after 45 minutes, done. I am just absolutely done.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I want to say too is, for those watching, I think many of you have heard me say this before. People with pain have a level of suffering that's greater than my suffering. However, like Maria with that facial pain is awful, and I hate that. But you know, I can somewhat appreciate it with my knee pain. You know, it's horrible what I've gone through, the craniotomy, and maybe it's fatigueotomy it should be our new name.
Fatigueotomy.
Fatigueotomy.
I love it. Exhaustonomy.
But you know,
Exhaustig.
it's there
For
you
Angelique.
go. But you know, that sitting up, getting up and sitting down and kneeling down, and I can't go on the floor and play with my granddaughter because I can't get up, you know, because
Yeah.
the pain is so bad. Pain is a level of difficulty higher than what most people have to go through.
Did I miss any hands on the topic of fatigue? All right, so I think that was pretty thorough. Obviously, anyone watching this, if you have comments, please leave them in the comment section because we want to hear how you manage it and what you're feeling like. Pauline, you wanted to talk a little bit about deficits. I know you've had many. You've been on the brain tumor journey for a long time, so talk to us.
Hello, everyone. I have a problem of just keeping my distance from everyone and everything. I play it off like, sometimes I can play it off like I'm okay, but I'm not okay. I tried going to concerts. I went to the New Edition concert in Vegas, but I spent most of the time where they sell the hot dogs and stuff, because it was just too much for me, too much stimulation, too loud. I even brought my AirPods. I ended up going to the old school concert on the cruise with my cousins, thinking that, you know, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to be normal, but I had to take my walker, you know. I furniture walk in my house, but when I leave my house, I have to use my cane. If I have a bad day, I'm using my walker. Um, I I know I'm slipping into depression. You know, I'm a crybaby, so I might
Let it
cry.
out. This is the place. We cry, we laugh, we vent, we swear, we do whatever needs to be done.
Um,
Talk
I
about sex.
John. There you
if
go. You
I
put a smile on her face.
if
No,
I
but let it out. It's hard.
if I fall in my house, I'm okay to fall in my house, but I don't want to get caught falling outside of my house. And I slipped at Bed Bath and Beyond or Bath and Body Works, and ever since then, I was so humiliated that I'm not normal anymore. Um, I would always think that like my grandchildren will make me get up and be happy and do things. I have 7 grandchildren and 5 adult kids. So when we're all in the house, I have to excuse myself because it gets overstimulated, you know?
Mhm.
I get pissed off because I raised 5 kids by myself. I was strong as hell. And now I feel weak. Um, I'm a Christian and I do go to church and I try to fill that void in by going to Bible studies, women Bible studies, just trying to understand how the women in the Bible dealt with life back then, and
Mhm.
how could I deal with my life now. Um, it's hard for my kids to see me because they're like, man, mom was a football coach, mom was a soccer coach, mom raised us, and now it's it's hard to see her feeling this way, you know. I have a wedding to go to tomorrow. My son's in a wedding and I just want to see him celebrate his best friend's day, you know. And and I love 80s music, so I'm dying to dance on that dance floor tomorrow night, with the cane, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but until I can't, you know. Um, and then I'm not in the work life anymore. So not seeing my friends, my coworkers, it's hard. And it sucks because um, I love them all. But when it comes down to something happening to you, you know who comes through. The fatigue, sometimes I'm in bed until 11 o'clock during the day. And that's totally not me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not me. So understanding and adapting to me not being normal anymore, it's really hard to grasp.
Yeah.
Really hard.
It's a lot to not only have been through the trauma of the surgeries and the radiation and just the condition in general that you've been dealing with, I think, for over 20 years, right? From your initial
It's
diagnosis to now with the reoccurrence and the radiation that you had.
since
Um,
2010.
mhm. But
um,
how drastically it changes your life and consumes you, because again, you have so much to live for with the kids and the grandkids and activities and cousins and all the things, and to feel like you can't just jump up and be excited and be a part of it without it taking a toll on you physically, mentally, emotionally is such
mhm,
a hard thing to juggle. Like there's no, you can't, it's just too many feelings all at once, and to be in pain but to also want to experience joy, you know, to be exhausted but to still want to be there to show up for the weddings and the things. And you do, you know, our instinct, our drive is to be alive and to go out and to do things because it's what we want. It's just sometimes there's hell to pay when we do it because we're just so wiped out afterwards. And then
Mhm.
everything just feels so heavy, and then that makes us sad, right? You just get sad, like, man, I just wanted to go to that wedding and have a great day and like go to bed and wake up and feel like a normal person. And I just feel exhausted. And we're constantly reminded about how this condition has changed our lives. And for all those reasons, it is depressing and it is anxiety driven and it is exhausting. Um, and we have to prioritize ourselves and we have to really take care of ourselves and each other, which is, you know, why this room is so important to let it out, because This isn't dinner table conversation. This isn't wedding conversation. It's a lot for us to hold. Sabrina, you had your hand up.
So I was just going to say, Pauline, so my tumor was in the cerebellum. So dizziness is constant with me. And what I'm finding is that it's more now that I'm getting further out from the tumor. I don't know. I don't know if it's a spell I'm going through. I don't know. Anyway, so I have to walk with a cane because in the house I'm fine, like you said. If I go out, I have to walk with a cane. So last Saturday, went to this Ram thing. I did my little walk around but as I was leaving, I had to hold on to my husband's arm because I was wandering because of the just being tired. So I truly get it. But at the same time, Pauline, you know what? If I fall, I fall. I'll pee, I'll laugh, I'll fall. I don't care. You know, at this point, there's nothing more I can do physically. It
Right.
sucks, yes. I hate it, yes. But there's nothing more physically I can do.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna pee because I'm laughing because it's funny.
Yeah.
All I can do is laugh about it now. I'm gonna fall because I'm dizzy. Ain't a drop a thing I can do about it. My
Yeah.
kid has fun with it because he'll say, "Oh, don't worry, she's just drunk." That is so far from the truth,
Right.
but he just has a good time with it because he's dealing with it, coping with it. But
Right. That's
I
their
use
coping
my cane
mechanism.
for everything.
Yeah.
So I truly get you, girl.
Yeah.
And it's John, I don't hit the floor. If I do hit the floor, I'm getting up like a toddler and it's a 10-minute ordeal.
Yep.
There's no coming back from that one.
Yeah.
You know, the driving also, it kills me to not be able to drive.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, in my mind, I know I can drive. I'm gonna be okay. So I'll take off with the car to the mailbox, which is a block and a half away. But I know that I need to be very careful, you know, and when I have the vertigo attacks, I can kind of feel it because I'm in a tunnel and I'm like, you know, so I'll pull over and
It took me 5 years to get back to driving, Pauline. 5 years.
oh,
So I truly get it, girlfriend. And I'm still terrified
Yeah.
because when I get in the car, I'm terrified I'm going to be hit.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to happen, I know, just because of the
yeah,
nature of the beast. But I've
I'm
got
scared that I'm gonna roll over as I'm driving because I can't control the vertigo,
right.
you know, the spinning.
Right.
I don't drive
So
at night or in the rain because of this crap.
Yeah.
So if I'm tired, no.
Maria, you had your hand up.
No, Pauline, first of all, I'm sorry you're feeling this way. And, I get the tears because I think one of the things that happens, what if I hear from what you're saying is you do self-censor from activities because you isolate yourself because I have fallen and broken 2 bones in my leg, 1 year after. And so the consequences of falling can be very severe, and add to your overall situation. So I've gone splat, uh, where nothing happens, and I have gone splat with broken bones, and I've gone splat where it's black and blue all over my legs. Just recently, when I was in a hotel room going to the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, I fell when I went to the bathroom, and it looked like somebody hit me with a bat in my legs. So you do self-censor. And then when people don't understand, you further self-censor and you isolate yourself because you're afraid. I'm afraid of driving. You take public transportation and people shove you and you go off balance. So, there's a sense of isolation that comes with these deficits, uh, because you're like freaked out. And in some cases, you have a family, a lot to live for, but you're navigating these things alone. Even if you have somebody next to you, you're navigating these things alone. So you feel alone. And then on top of that, you isolate because it's like, okay, I don't feel like breaking my leg today. I don't feel like crashing the car, even though I can drive a mile to the supermarket. So there's like a lot of emotional issues that come with that. And I feel you. I hear you. And it's very, very hard, even when if you feel you have something. So I don't have a solution. And that's also some of the problem with it is like I wish I could give you a solution. Yeah, I've laughed at myself, but sometimes the injury from the falling or the fatigue is so much that I can't find anything funny other than maybe the next day watching some old Bugs Bunny, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
So I'm sorry, honey.
absolutely. Sherry?
And it's sad
Okay.
because I just want to be with you guys all the time, you know.
Mhm. I know.
I can relate to
I
that
wish
too.
I
I
wish
mean,
we were closer
I
physically because we would
know.
have a community. I mean,
Mhm.
I do talk to Deneen, who's out here, on a regular basis, and sometimes we ended up talking 2 hours because there's nobody else that understands. And even though her condition, is different than mine, I mean, in so many ways she deals with the stuff, and sometimes we're just talking, you know,
Yeah, just to get
girl
it out.
chat, but it's like nobody gets it. I can't
Oh,
girl chat with the girls because they're not talking to me anymore because I'm not who I
right.
used to be.
Yeah, they don't know how to relate.
They don't know how to
Sherry?
relate to this new Maria Romero, and I hate calling it the new normal because it's really the new abnormal. Is that constant abnormal? The
Yeah,
from the henceforth out abnormal.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
My
it's like
permanent
I'm sorry, can I
abnormal
break the
normal.
F barrier? Can I break the F barrier? Do I have the honor to
Yeah,
break the
I
F
don't.
barrier? Should I
If
self-censor?
YouTube cuts me
It's
off, I'll have to mute it and repost it. But
okay, well then, I won't say it. I'll be good,
I
girl.
think it's
I'll be
fine. I
good.
don't.
I would just say,
Fine
just
by me.
imagine the F barrier being broker is from here, F'd out.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sherry, you had your hand up.
yeah, I know I can relate. It brings up a lot of post-traumatic stress too when you are going through that, and a lot of anger. I know that I get really angered at myself from the things I cannot do anymore. And I know I went to a concert myself the other night when it was indoors, and I couldn't find my way to the bathroom because of my eyesight. And I was getting very frustrated and very angered at myself for that, but also at my friend that was with me that she didn't understand that maybe I needed a guide to go to the bathroom and a guide to come back. I used to be really afraid to even go into a public bathroom. For some reason, going into the bathroom stall, it was like really fearful for me. And I know that even walking around my house, I have to use, I'm by braille, my house. I'm really by braille anymore driving, so I can understand the not being able to drive anymore because I'm getting there. My not being able to drive is coming, and that's almost like getting rid of your freedom because driving is a freedom. It's a luxury. We're out there and we can drive. We can go, wherever. So we feel normal at that moment, I think. And thinking that you're going to, have your vertigo during the time of driving, I get the same thing. I mean, I think to myself, okay, when is my eye going to flip out and I'm not going to be able to see anything while I'm driving? I don't want to harm anybody when I'm driving. I don't want to harm myself while I'm driving. So driving and giving up driving, I get that with you big time. I mean, everything you said, I totally can relate to that. That's
Hmm.
one good thing about coming here is that we don't have the other people that can relate to that. No one can relate. None of your friends can relate to that. That don't have a brain tumor.
Right.
Um, but we here totally get each other. I mean, I know we're during conversations. I'm sitting going, oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes.
Hmm.
Because we can relate to all that. That
Yeah.
frustration. And frustration
Yeah.
is like a bad word in our vocabulary, I think, right now. When we get frustrated, we don't know where to put it and where, to let it out.
Well, there's so
Yeah.
many emotions. You don't know where to
Yeah.
put any of them, right? From the depression to the anxiety to the overwhelmingness to the exhaustion to the worry to the fear to the just kind of all of the things, the guilt that you feel when you can't attend certain things and you want to, but I shouldn't feel guilty, but you do. And just all of the things, the disappointment and the people who you've left you or maybe don't show up for you or think to call and ask how you're doing. It's like not only are you processing the recovery of just being on this journey and being worried every time you have to get your follow-up MRIs for the rest of your life, just processing all those emotions in real time for the new abnormal or normal, whatever you want to call it, is it's just a lot for the heart and the mind to carry. John, you had your hand up.
One of the sessions at the conference that Brenda and Angel and Deidre and I went to was called Scanxiety. It was the
Mhm.
American Brain Tumor Association's conference. I don't know why I'm pointing, but
Right down the street.
it's in Chicago. It was in Chicago, and I live close to Chicago. Anyway, the Scanxiety is real, and I guess if I don't know if this is a different topic a little bit, but it really brought back the anxiety that I had in the ambulance going to the hospital. It was about an hour's drive, and the doctor said after he saw my MRI, John, don't go home, don't do anything. You go straight to the emergency room at UW-Madison, and they'll take care of you there. Don't go home. It was around the 1st of January in 2021. And so I did. And so, the question I have is if for some reason, and I wonder sometimes when I'm really tired, I have a lot of pressure back there, is it back? Is the tumor back? And so I think if I ever had that situation where the tumor did come back and they said, John, if you don't do it, then, we'll see you later. You're not going to make it. I don't know that I would go through it again. That's my, and I'm curious to know what the group would say to that. Would you go through this again if given that, that you had, 6 months or you had a meningioma and,
Yeah.
yeah,
And people, John, would say, you're so lucky it's a meningioma, it's benign. You're fine. You're so lucky it's not cancer. And it's like, really? I'm so lucky. I mean, listen
yeah.
to these stories we're talking about today. Sherry, then Kelsey. I think I saw Sherry's hand up and then Kelsey's.
Yeah, that comes to that is like I can sit here and say I'm going to die from a benign grade 1
Mhm.
meningioma. You
Yeah.
think to yourself, how is it I'm going to die from something that's not cancer and it's only a grade 1, so it's not so severe. And that's what it was perceived for me when I left the doctors, after surgery and everything the first time in 2020. I'm thinking, okay, I'm okay. It's a grade
Mhm.
1. They got almost all of it out. I should be fine and everything. And now it's growing back
Mhm.
and it's in prime property. It is on
Yep.
the house you want on the beach, the prime grade A property that you want to buy. That's where my
Mhm.
tumor is at. It's in the deep, dark little grooves of everything in my brain. And yes, if I leave it alone and I don't have surgery again or radiation, which I'm not going to do,
Mhm.
if I don't do something about it, I will die from it. It will
Yeah.
take me away. But I won't just die from it. It will take a part of me away and then part of
Yeah.
me and part of me and part
It
of
will
me.
slowly etch away
Yeah.
your
But
capabilities,
it's
your ability to think and move and
right.
function, swallow, all of the things. Yeah.
Yeah. Breathe, even
Mhm.
breathing. And then your friends or family or whatever, they're there and they're like, oh, it's just a grade 1 benign tumor.
Yeah,
What are
you're
you
so
even complaining
lucky.
about? Yeah, you're lucky. And it's like, I almost go to the point where it would be better if it was cancer. And that's horrible to even say that word, because cancer, you pretty much go through the chemotherapy and the radiation and everything you have to do to get rid of it. Whereas a benign tumor, you're thinking, why should I even have radiation with a benign brain tumor?
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so yeah,
And
I
you
can
just
relate.
have to live with knowing it's just going to keep growing and
Yeah,
growing because these things are unlikely to just sit there and not grow. So,
yeah,
Kelsey, you had your hand up and then Deidre.
Yeah, to echo off of John's comment about like, oh my gosh, is this tumor back? So one morning I was going to go to 6 a.m. cycle class and I woke up, went to the bathroom and I feeling really hot. My heart is racing and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And I'm leaning over to try to take some deep breaths to get my heart rate back to normal. And then I was like, screw this. I'm just not going to go because I can't go like this. I shut the lights off. I pass out in the bathroom and I jump back up again. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not going. I'm just going to go back to sleep for a couple hours and wake up. I go to work. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a nurse and he said, "Don't you have like high blood pressure too?" And I said, "Yeah." And I forgot what he said. He said some medical term of what would have happened. And he's like asking, "Oh, what did you eat the day before?" And I said, "Not very much. I know I had like tons of caffeine." He's like, "Then that explains it. You were dehydrated." But anyways, but I was thinking, oh my God, did this brain tumor come back? And
Mhm.
luckily I
Any
was in,
headache, any bout of dizziness, any
yes,
wobbliness, any
I had the
forgetfulness, we're
scan
like,
later that week, and
oh
of course
shit,
it
the
was
tumor's
clear.
back.
But and then now echoing off of Sherry's comment, I'm thinking I went to this neurofibromatosis event from my oncologist because he's also my neuro-oncologist and NF doctor, and I was thinking of Terry and the radiation and what happened to her. I've already told them, I was like, no, I'm not having radiation. They kind of, not my neuro-oncologist, but the other one, she's like, and that's okay. You have every right to say that. And she's just like, there's other methods. She's like, but if you don't want radiation, that's perfectly fine. And I'm thankful they said that because I'm with Sherry. Screw that. I don't want radiation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Deidre and then Brenda.
I was just going to comment on the, people say, I've had a lot of old people coming back and saying, well, but you're fine, right? And I say, no. Now I just like own it. And I'm like, no. And they go, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm not fine. I'm still on watch and wait for the rest of my life. My tumor's still there. And, just because it's, grade 1, a meningioma doesn't mean anything. But then I follow it up with, it's okay because I can't be defined by the negative things that have happened to me. So I kind of spin it to try and be a little more positive about it because people just don't get it. And they're like, but you're fine. I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, oh, well, so I just, and it just kind of tamps down the situation a bit to where people go, oh, okay, well, you're not okay, but at least you're in the world of accepting like where you're at. And I don't know, it's interesting. I actually kind of stole that phrase from a singer who was on American Idol, and she was like riddled with cancer all over her body, and she said it's okay, because you can't be defined by it, but we're going to keep pushing as best we can. But that's where I think all of us in a community want to just have a little bit of grace for people to understand that, we're not okay.
Yeah.
But it's okay that we're not okay because we have to deal with it every day, and we're going to do our best. Just try and be as supportive as you can with us, as a community, even as our friends and caregivers or whoever they are. So
yeah, exactly. Brenda.
I can't remember now who mentioned the cancer, not cancer thing. But from my personal experience, I've had both. I've had cancer and I've had a non-cancerous tumor. And I can completely understand, the benign tumor world, because it's like when I got diagnosed with cancer, most people walked away, but everybody that didn't walk away were like, oh, are you okay? It's just like almost treating me overly kind, And then when I got diagnosed with my second one and I had it completely removed, they're like, okay, you're fine now. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Actually, my cancerous tumor was much easier to recover from than my non-cancerous tumor. And it's like, I keep trying to explain to people, location, location, location. Like my cancerous tumor was very easy to access. I mean, he literally just was like, I'm just gonna take your skull off and then boop, it's right there. And my non-cancerous tumor, they had to go through 2 layers of the main bone and then the, auditory canal and all that. And it was like, and I'm having more issues with the second surgery than the first. And the first surgery, actually, all my symptoms I had prior to surgery went away. And now my second surgery, they got worse, the symptoms I had. And so it's like, for my experience, I was like, I've had more issues with a benign tumor than I did with a cancerous tumor. And the treatment, yeah, I mean, I had to go through radiation, I had to go through chemo, but people were more gracious from that than this, so it's like I can speak from both worlds. Like,
Mhm.
and even when I tell people, yeah, I had brain cancer, they're just like, oh. And then I tell them that I had a second tumor, and they're like, oh, so it was a regrowth. And I'm like, no, it was a completely different tumor, but it was benign. They're like, oh, thank God. And it was like, in one sentence, it's
Mhm.
two different reactions based
Mhm.
on the two different diagnoses.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating for me.
It's so interesting too in your case that you started off with the cancerous tumor and then ended up with the benign one, which I think was in the radiation path. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, right? Most of the stories, it's the other way around. They start off with the benign and then 5, 10, 20 years later, they end up with maybe another benign or a cancerous one. So it's just so interesting that yours was reversed. And I hate that that is your circumstance, but I do appreciate that you can speak to both because I think it's so important that benign is not fine and you truly are able to express that from a first point of view. Maria.
I was going to say that, when you have something in the brainstem or some other things, it's again, we've talked a game of location, but this particular surgery, the C, little c, big C, it's called the retrosigmoid approach, and whatever I'm learning that I have looked up in the medical literature a little bit about it, and up to 32% of people, nearly a third, have problems with the retrosigmoid approach post surgery. So, my life is far worse than before. And, I think that that's not something people understand because there's this idea that, medical system's going to fix it. First of all, there's this, thank God it wasn't cancer. Well, yes. And I've lost people to cancer, and it's never made me feel better at any point in life that somebody has it worse than me. How can I be thankful that there are people having it worse? That never worked for me since I was a little girl. There's some cognitive dissonance there. How can I be happy somebody has it worse? So you want me to be thankful for that?
Yeah, you're
You
supposed to feel
strange
better
person
because
telling
someone
me
else
this.
has it worse.
So that gets the conversation on an awkward foot. How can it be happy? And second of all, there's so much more to this. So there's like these pat phrases, I believe it comes when you're dealing with this for a while. And people don't know how to have real communication and real feeling and really a connection. So you get this, what I call these throwaway lines. It's just the usual throwaway because we're so terrible as humans sometimes to communicate, to empathize, and to be vulnerable to somebody else, to feel like, oh, I'm so sorry, or just to listen. So it's, I guess, something we do here that this group does is to communicate with empathy and understanding, because even though our journey is not exactly the same, we have learned the hard way, and we know that this is very, very valuable. It's keeps us going. It's like, sometimes, at least for me, it's like, when's the next group where I can speak to and I can listen and take in some real talk instead of throwaway lines.
Did I miss any hands, Sherry?
Sorry, I have so much to comment on, but it's true that like you look at your family and stuff like that, and you talk to them about your brain surgery and stuff like that, and the way their reaction is towards what you're going through is so like lackadaisy, I guess. I don't know what the word would be. It's like, come on, I just went through brain surgery, and they're just like, they don't think of it as
You're doing
serious.
great.
It's like
You're
you're
doing
fine.
great. You look great.
Yeah, you have a benign tumor. Your surgeon says they see it all the time. It's really from I guess that's the biggest tumor that's always there. That's the most common tumor that's there is your benign grade 1 meningioma. And so your family's sitting there thinking, oh, well, I don't know what she's all being all like that for, or being having the symptoms that you're having now. And it's like, you don't understand. Take a look at my face and my eyeball that's going inward and it's stuck there. And then they look at me and they go, you're fine. I mean, you're looking straight at me. And then I look to the right and it's like the right eye stays straight and the left eye goes right. And they're, oh. And they don't think of it as, they don't think of it as serious. And it really is serious. And they don't think of it that way. And it always makes me really frustrated when I think, come on, people, I just went through brain surgery. I mean, brain surgery.
And
it's
you
like,
have to go through it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm facing it again. And yeah, like John said, who would go through it again? Well, I'm going through it in 2 more months. I'm going to be going through what I do believe Maria had the same surgery where they're going to have to take out the whole entire side of my face, basically, just to get to it. And they still don't know if they're still going to get it all out. And then comes back the radiation. Well, we recommend radiation. Well, I respect and I respect your recommendations and whatnot and your expertise of all your panel that has seen my case, but I don't want radiation in my non-cancerous tumor life. I don't want radiation. I don't want to have the side effects that are going to come with the radiation, the more fatigue, the possibility of this, that, and another occurring, where it's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, John, I don't want to go through it again at all. But I'm facing a major surgery now where they're going to take the scar or the cut will be all the way from my jawbone up and around the ear and all the way to the back of my head. All of that has to come out. And who's going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again when they're done? That's almost what I feel like.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it, it's the location. Like Brenda had said, it's going to take me out.
Yeah.
So I have to do it.
John, your hand is up.
One of the effects of my surgery is I have a hole in the back of my head. I don't know if can you see that? Right here. It's an indentation that's about this big. And every once in a while I get in a discussion with somebody and well, how you doing? I've heard about your situation and blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, I'm tired. I've got vertigo. And oh, by the way, I've got a hole in my head. Would you like to feel it? And I let one lady feel it one time and she threw up.
Oh, God. You've never told us that story.
She threw up.
39 sessions and I'm learning this for the first time.
I know. It just happened fairly recently, actually. She went like
this.
Poor
woman. Talk about embarrassing. I mean, at least she didn't faint too. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
welcome to the club.
That is how conscientious I am of this hole in my head. Thankfully, I can't see it, but I like when I get my hair cut, I always have to tell the lady, be careful because I got a hole back there, and she feels it, and she go, oh wow, So yeah, I mean that's how. And one thing I know I've Googled this before, I'm sure several times, but a meningioma is not cancer, but it grows, right?
So
doesn't a what's the difference between something that grows and something that grows?
Exactly.
Why isn't
they're all right? They all ain't supposed to be there. I'm not
grew, I know mine went from here to here. It's got bigger, so that means it grew. Why is that not bad? I mean,
Maria, you want to explain it? Because I know we talked about this a few times. I mean, it's still
it's in the simplest possible terms, it's the aggressiveness of the growth and then kind of how the cancer cells spread beyond. So a meningioma tends to be a little bit more clustered together and how it grows. Relatively speaking, that doesn't mean that
it has
but
clean
the cancer
lines.
just like branches, is like so. And again, there's degrees of cancer. So you have grade 2, grade 1, grade 4 of aggressiveness. So that's the short version of it. It does grow, and a meningioma can grow pretty fast depending on your hormones, your situation in life. I talked to a neurosurgeon that dealt with pregnant women, and it grew really, really fast during pregnancy of meningiomas. So there's
pregnancy,
many women
IVF, birth control, HRT, all the things.
It's both the rate of growth but how it grows, and then the aggressiveness of it attacking other tissue.
Yeah.
If I may say so, I'm the same issue as Maria. So mine is a meningioma that is in my right sinus. And when the meningioma grew, it just took all the vein, the microvein, and the trigeminal nerves. And I had an MRI past this week, was Tuesday. And now, so what they say is that they currently consider it as a grade 2 because it can't be operated. I can have any surgery, non-biopsy, because you have too much microvein and veins. So they can't touch it. The issue is that this amazing meningioma is around as well my right eye, near my right eye's nerve. So as 2 weeks ago, I'm currently having a bad moment at work. I mean, I was so devastated that I could not open my eyes anymore because the tumor was like taking the nerves of my eyes by the down of my face. And so I could not open my eyes anymore. So I took Valium, I took opium, and was nothing better. I was just sleeping like for 20 minutes, but the pain was there. And the issue with the meningioma is like, so I had my MRI Tuesday, and now, so my tumor is the same size, still 3 millimeters to the main brain vein. So that's okay. But my trigeminal is fully impacted. And now I'm having like an extra piece of skin in my left sinus. So they need to continue to check what is happening. My vein behind in the neck is on the right slightly thicker. So the one that is irrigated, your brain or whatever. So that's why we need to continue all the exam to see what's happening. And they want to check my legs because I'm starting to have being paralyzed on my right side. And with the pressure I had, it's going to be like 3 weekends, Angel, from my job. I currently was working like 200, 250 hours per month at my work. And they wanted to fire me for a long time. So I went on holidays, and 4 days after I was like fired. I signed an 11 million project this summer. And that's why, when you have a meningioma, this is ready sometimes when you're on the way to have a big crisis. And so I went to, I was convocated by the human resources, and they know what I have since the beginning.
Yeah.
And they say, well, Angelique, you yell after it's this girl named Maria, and you yell at her at this moment. And I say, I beg your pardon. I yell at her, me yelling after someone. Yeah, you did it. Okay. Who was this girl? Maria. Okay. The name of the client, please. Oh, I can't remember. Okay. 3 example after. Oh, with this case, Maria, Excellium, you forced the clients to sign the non-disclosure agreements. And I say, well, that's normal, because when you are starting to talk with the clients, something very, very, come on, we are talking about pharma. So you have to have this document signed. Yeah, and actually it fails the business. And I said, well, first of all, who are we talking about? Maria. Okay, good. Clients Excellium, and we have a meeting with the clients next week.
Yeah.
And I know Benjamin did that very well since 2 years. And like 10 example after, it was like, are we still talking about the same person? Yes, Maria. And so what's the name of the clients? I don't know.
Wow.
And so I am on garden leave now since a week. And it's 3 weeks I'm working hard, means from Monday to Monday, from 8 in the morning till 7 p.m. without any break or lunchtime break, because I have to give a maximum of information. For the first time, I took a lawyer because I'm fed up I mean,
Wrongful termination. They clearly fired you because of your condition.
and you know, they are so afraid that they put me on garden leave because they know that I have good connections in France. And so, come on, man, is it going to stop me? No, I call all my best, clients, and I say that to them, and they say, "What?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to work with this company anymore.
Wow.
It's over. Conversation is finished."
I'm just glad that you are, putting in the energy to fight for what's right, because wrongful termination is not okay. And
But that's
we
why I
should
took a
not be
lawyer.
discriminated against for this condition, particularly when I know you took that job with them knowing you had this condition. Because in the
And
beginning,
you know what?
they know and they're understanding because they sent me flowers. And I was like, great, you found a perfect new home to be working at. And then it
And there's
just on you.
and there's two extra things that I would like to say. The first one is like they approach me to be like fool because I mixed two clients' name, Terranexus and Terranosis. And I say, what? Because I mixed Terranexus and Terranosis, you think that I have my memory impacted? I mean, and this is my conclusion, I think we are putting too much pressure on us, guys.
Yeah.
Who don't we know is forgetting to buy bread, forgot to go to an appointment, leave keys at a friend's house, forgot to close the window. Everybody is doing that. And so us, it happens. And well, come on, who is able to judge us with all what we have to manage? And to say that I mixed Terranexus and Terranosis, come on.
Yeah.
You are saying that to me, these little things to say you're fired. Now we're going to play because they didn't know, but I was feeling the issue since January. And in January, I was already sending the mails outside. So I took a lawyer, and he's used to work with Anglo-Saxon, pharma company. And now we are going to start the game.
Good. Good. I hope they see this video and they know that we all support and love you. And we've been on this journey with you the entire time, even through being fired at your last job for this condition, which is unacceptable. And I know you perform great work and you have a high skill set.
All my clients,
and you put in a ton of hours and people really love you. And so, whatever I can do to support you, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. But all my clients, they say, you are so wonderful, and how dare they to do that to you? You worked on the weekend for us. You work on bank holidays. You work till 1 a.m. in the morning, and they dare you to do that to you. I mean, I'm like freaking mad because if I was able to see my ex-boss in front of me, I think I will have enough energy. Still, if I'm very tired, to smash her face direct.
Oh God, don't say that on the TV. Oh God. Sometimes jobs forget that we work on weekends and we stay late because we're trying to make up for the fact that maybe we do move a little bit slower. It doesn't mean we're not getting our jobs done. We're just putting in even more time to get it done, well, and to do good work. And the lack of appreciation we get, God forbid a boss look at you and say, well, it takes you 60 hours to do what it would take someone 40 hours to do. And it's like, but is the job done? Did I do it well? Okay, so give me some grace. Like I've been through some stuff, right? But there's so little compassion in the world, particularly from workplaces, unfortunately. And that's you in France dealing with it. Of course, you're working for an American company, so sorry. I don't know if I missed any hands. I know, Pauline, you really took us on a conversation about deficits and struggles and depression and all that. Like you really introduced a lot of heartfelt conversation, and thank you for that. And I'm sorry that you're going through so much, but I hope that you feel all of our love for you, and we just however we can support you, we're always here for everybody.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I miss you guys like crazy.
You. I know, we miss you. I think of you all the time.
For next year's walk, wherever you're at, I'm going to be there. And
Okay.
I'm going to put in my calendar, nothing can be scheduled at that time.
I love that. I love that. So I know I miss you. I want to see you. Sherry had to leave. I know a couple others had to leave early. I'm happy to keep the conversation going and appreciate all of you who have allotted a lot of time to kind of do this and hang out. I know one of the topics, if we want to go there, is intimacy and sex after craniotomy, and or just the inability to be intimate and maybe even find a partner in life. Because even just telling someone you have this diagnosis is unnerving. So, not to make things awkward for what I know is a BTC family here, we've had many heartfelt conversations before,
My
but are
shoes.
we willing to share a little bit with the world? Or do we all want to turn our cameras off and pretend this topic didn't come up?
How long does everybody have?
What, John?
In case I can have any French number.
Yeah, so maybe Angelique, after this, you'll meet the love of your life. Who knows? Who will watch this and be like, she's my girl.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to start the conversation, or should I? I already got 3 screens turned off, so I can move on if I need to. Brenda, I sort of see your hand up.
Yeah, good, Brenda. You're on mute, my dear.
Take it away, Brenda.
Well, I have to say, like, well, first off, going through chemo, you can't be intimate because you're toxic, basically. So that was kind of the launching point between me and my husband, where it's like I got kind of used to not even having that like connection with him. And then once I was clear from that, then I don't know if it was the hormone, like the fact that the chemo and radiation affected my hormone levels, or it's the left frontal lobe. So I have left frontal lobe damage, which is part of your, I think it's part of your like sexual desire and all that stuff. So all these things are like broken in me. And I'm still 5 years later, almost 6 years later, trying to navigate how the hell do I even like broach the subject. So, I mean, I finally talked to my new primary care doctor and I was like, look, I have no sex drive. Like literally, I could care less about it. And he did my hormone panel and it was like, oh my gosh, your hormones are like tanked. Like they're still in the quote unquote normal range, but they're on the very low end. And so he was like, I'm going to talk to a hormone specialist and tell her your diagnoses and see if you can do bioidentical hormone therapy. And after, gosh, it's been over a month that they were doing this. And finally she said, well, I'm comfortable with giving you a very, very low dose testosterone and a very low dose of progesterone, because you don't have like my tumors aren't hormone related. And so he said the only way I will prescribe this protocol to you is if you reach out to your neuro-oncologist and ask him, are you good with this particular protocol? So I did, and he is, and now I'm just the compounded pharmacies out of Utah. So we're working on getting my hormones. But I mean, it's a long process just to even understand. And who knows, the hormones may or may not work because I have frontal lobe damage, so, and that's the other thing, separate topic, but doctors, even neuro-oncologists, they don't talk about this being a traumatic brain injury. And I think that they need to rethink that whole concept.
Agreed.
So that's
Because for
kinda,
us, we didn't fall off the skateboard and crack our skull on that day, but we had a scheduled day in which someone cracked into our skull and caused a lot of trauma to our body, whether we want to really admit to it or not, right? We can pretend it didn't happen because we were asleep, so we didn't really feel it, but the body remembers and it keeps score. And
Mhm.
yeah, we just scheduled our TBI. So we kind of definitely should be recognized for that too. I agree. Maria, did you have your hand up, or John? Did I miss anybody wants to talk about intimacy on this wild journey of ours? John?
Well, always happy to talk about that. Uh, I would say for those of you that Talia, I'm not sure, we've never met, and I know think I've met
Krista.
everybody else. Krista, I know you and I
Okay.
have met too
Okay,
one
good.
time. But so when I had my meningioma surgery about 2 or 3 years before that, so it'd be about 7 years ago, I had the symptoms were wet, wobbly, and weird. So wet, I had incontinence. Wobbly, I couldn't walk. I was tripping. I was slow walking. I couldn't walk.
Mhm.
And we'd go for walks with my wife, and she'd be 10 yards ahead of me in a minute, you know. So anyway, and then weird was I just was saying weird things. My memory was going. So the three W's is what I always say. But the fourth W, if you want to call it that, was just the lack of interest in the intimacy thing. And so I was just like, I had no interest at all, zero. Just I want to go to bed. I want to go to sleep. I was tired, and so then I had the surgery, and of course it took me a year to recover and think again and swallow again. I had to learn everything over again. I had to learn to walk. I had to learn to talk. I the joke was we had a dog at the time, and I used to walk around the house with my walker, my wife holding onto my gate belt, and she's holding my dog, and I'd go around one time, then I'd go around 5 times, and then 10 times, and then I finally got up to 50 times. But during that whole period, so now we're talking 3 or 4 years, zero, interest. And then all of a sudden, as things changed a little bit, I thought, well, gee whiz, I think things are a little different that in that part of our lives, and it would be nice to see if we can rekindle that whole thing. And we did, and it was wonderful and fantastic. And my wife is hopefully still upstairs and has the door closed. Uh, she doesn't like when I share this part of my story, but it's a big part of the journey, and so that has uh, I want to say back to normal, but I would say it's somewhat
Gotten
back to
better.
normal for me. And just so you know, here's how we've handled this. We have decided, and uh, I remember one time Angel said, "Hey, slow down, man," because I was like three eagles in a row. You know, so it was uh, things were getting back to normal for me anyway. My wife, she gets up early and she's always tired late at night. So I finally said, "Honey, let's just pick one day. Can we at least pick one day a week? Come on." So we did. And
Yeah.
so, and although we now have our granddaughter living with us, and that's changed everything too. So that's put us back a month or two, but hopefully we'll figure that out. And but it was a big
It's
part
a
of this whole journey was
Mhm.
not, that I had a meningioma. I didn't have any interest. I have the surgery, and now I'm back to normal
Yeah.
uh, with that part of our life, and it's been wonderful, and I'm very happy about it, and I hope you all have lots of
Well, and it's
fun too.
important to stay patient with yourself, and it's
Yes,
important to
yes,
um still work towards the goal of intimacy being back in your life. And I can remember, John, that session that we all had, or I don't know who was on it, but where you thought, can I talk a little bit about intimacy, like who's having sex, not having sex, like, is is it worth it? Like, am I going to have vertigo and spin and fall off the bed kind of thing? I mean, we had a few laughs. We also had a lot of tears in that session because
You had some good suggestions too, Angel.
Yeah, we did. Because at the end of the day, let's be real, intimacy is important. I mean, sometimes it's the chemistry and intimacy that keeps couples together because sometimes your personalities, you want to wring each other's necks, right? And there's just kind of this intimacy and connection that you have that you're like, you're my person, and I don't know why, but we have this special thing together. And when you lose it, you get sad and you do want to fix it. And it's depressing to be like, I'm just going to give up entirely. And like, it's never going to be a part of my life again. Because it, for many of us, is a big part of our life in the earlier years and before this diagnosis. So, I think it is an important thing to talk about, and I'm glad you brought it up. And I'm glad that when we had that group, it brought out a lot of tears and emotion and ideas and thoughts from a lot of people. And I believe, got you back in the saddle, if that's the appropriate thing to say. Talia. Yay, we get to hear from you.
I've just been listening.
To want to talk.
No, I've just been listening to everyone.
So quiet. I love it.
I just want to end on a good note that I'm going to meet you tomorrow, and then I'm bringing my whole family for the 5K walk.
Excited.
And I'm really excited about that.
Yes, I'm super excited. Hubby, kids, and mom, right? I get to meet everybody.
Hubby, my mom, and my 2 sons. My daughter's in college. Otherwise, I'd bring her too. But we're all doing it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the American Brain Tumor Association walk 5K here in Santa Monica. And so since Talia is in my hood, if you will, I reached out and was like, join the team, come participate. I would love to meet and hug you in person. So it's finally happening.
Yes.
I'm super, super excited.
So very excited about that.
It's been a great session, and I think the viewers will learn a lot. And before everybody has to go and actually start their weekend, I thought maybe we just quickly go around and ask, what does this group mean to you? And if there's one takeaway or one thing that you wish you knew before you learned in this group, do you have one, and what is that? For me, I'll just start it off. I wish I knew about how terribly constipated I was going to be after surgery. And I'm going to be the first to bring up poop because I feel like my first poop after brain surgery was scarier and more painful than the actual surgery. I actually thought I was going to have to go back to the hospital and that I was going to have blood pouring out of my head because it was just that bad. So I wish I knew that. And I learned that in this group, and I should have had this group before I had surgery, but you live and you learn. So that's mine. I hope everybody finds that entertaining. John, I know you have to leave. What's yours? What is the one thing you wish you knew, or what have you learned from this group?
Here's what I learned, Angelique, that if, God forbid, I outlive my wife, it will be a criteria that if I get married again, she has to have a meningioma or had a craniotomy. That's my criteria. Because it's
no one else is gonna get you, that's for sure.
That's right. That'll be my first question. Have you had a craniotomy? No? Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
He's reading Napoleon at this very moment.
So what you're saying is we should start our first craniotomy dating website?
There you go.
That's an idea. Whoever's listening and wants to launch it, there might be a
good
market
idea,
there.
Angel.
There might be a market there.
You have to create something like that. An international group like that.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Well, thank you, John, for that. That's an interesting thing.
John.
Talia, what about you? I know you've only done 7 sessions with us and you're new on this journey.
I mean, I guess I was lucky because I joined you guys before my craniotomy. So I felt more confident going in had I not joined you. I will say this, not all neck pillows are created equally. So the one that I took to the hospital was too rough. So I, bring different softer ones and harder ones. I think that was great. I think all your other tips for the hospital were amazing. Post-surgery, I am overall doing really well. So this group I guess I'm, on the luckier end that I don't have that many ailments at the moment. But it's a great support group, and I love hearing stories, and just, we're all humans and we're all doing the best we can. And that's it, just as a overall support group. I really enjoy it.
I'm
And
so
was
glad you found us before your
justified.
surgery. I wish I had found a group like this before my surgery. And you really did have an amazing surgeon and outcome and all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I got very fortunate too. And so that's kind of the good side of it is a lot of the deficits you had going into your surgery did go away.
They
You were
went
getting
away.
treated for years for things that was your tumor the whole time, which I know you haven't had a chance to really share your story yet, but you had the benefit of those things going away.
Yeah, and
Right?
I mean, I know we're running out of time, but my mom's in LA, so she had an appointment with my neurologist, who's the one who discovered the meningioma, and I had only seen her once in my life. So I went with my mom, and she introduced herself, and I said, "No, actually, you met me in January. You diagnosed me." And like right away, she knew who I was, but not visually at the moment. And I started telling her everything that went away as soon as the surgery was over, and she was so thankful that I
Mhm.
shared it with her. And so yeah, I actually feel better post surgery than, but I was spinning and I was super scared. Those of you who met me before the surgery
Oh yeah.
know that I was like just, so
I
I'm
mean,
very thankful for this group.
yeah, how could you not be? I mean, again, regardless of what our tumor diagnosis ends up being, we all hear the same words that day. You have a brain tumor. And then the story begins. And so again,
Yes.
all of our luggage looks different, right? We all carrying different luggage, but we're kind of all on that same plane. We're like, what? We're going
Yep.
where? What are we doing? So
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you took a chance on us and we were able to support you through it. And I'm
absolutely.
thrilled to meet you tomorrow and hang out
Yes,
with you for this race. So thank you for participating and signing
of course.
so
I'm
much.
Can
excited.
I tell a, can I tell a little story? Because it was the first time it happened in my life Tuesday at the hospital. I was talking to the girl for, to block an appointment with my doctor to have an MRI for my spine. And so I was talking to her, and there's this woman coming, running, and she pushed me and say, "Someone call me that I can come before for to have my MRI for my boobs and all that stuff. So I need to go now." And she say, "Madame, I beg your pardon, but this woman was talking to me and you pushed her. So I'm going to ask you to step back 2 meters, and I'm going to ask to this polite woman to come back." And she did it again. And she said, "Madame, this woman is not crazy. She's having a cerebral tumor. You've got nothing for the moment. So you are going to let this woman come back."
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time in my life that someone is saying, "You have to stop and you let this person coming back,"
Mm-hmm. You were seeing.
because nobody's usually say stop,
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
It
That is
was it,
respect.
you know,
I love
to
that.
stop, respect. Yes, we need that.
I know. I agree. And we give a lot of that in this group every day. Well, when we meet, not every day. I would love to do this every day, actually.
Yeah, I'm just going to conclude about that. It's like
Yes. What has
what
this
is
group taught you? What
so
is
first, I thank the universe after I've been diagnosed to have a look on the internet and find this group named Menenjo, my companion, and a girl named Angel based in California. I said, okay, well, well, I'm from France, Paris, maybe, well, let's have a try. So
Mhm.
and it's the first time that I knew that there was an angelic before and there will be an angelic after. And this is the first time I cried with someone, and after it was with my psy, doing the rapid eye movement. And I would like to say that it's not because you are wearing the same family name of someone that it is part of your family. You are my family, and I do appreciate to see you now for a long time for most of you, and shared some moments that were very difficult to share and very personal. And I thank you for your confidence as well in doing that. And I think we're going to go to till the retirement like that. But I mean, this is what this group, bring to me is like we can talk openly, we can understand each other's. We are all on the same level. There's no judgment. And definitely I thanks internet to have put the
Right.
name of this group in front of
Yeah.
my eyes. That's it.
Thank goodness for a
And
good
thanks
Google
to all
search.
for who you are. Thank you.
I am very, very thankful for all of you. Thank you for always having an open heart for me. I feel bad that we're all going through the same thing, but I'm happy that I can conversate with you guys and you understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
And one day I want to see everybody.
I know you've met two of us in this room, so we got that far, but we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Miss Maria, you want to share a little as we wrap up?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that to this group it has been meant so much. Like you said, I wish you would only find it earlier. It's been unconditional love and acceptance. And in a world where when you got it good, people just go on with their lives and leave, you have made it the unusual and amazing step to give back to those of us who didn't get it so good, and for anybody who wants to talk about it. And that is so rare that you've created that. That is such a gift. It moves me to no end because that's what happens in the world. You got it good, you're off your tracks, but you have given back, and we have given to each other, and that just means the world. I also wish I could meet all of you. I met the one person furthest away
I
because
know.
she came to my
What are the
neighborhood,
chances you meet the girl
and
from France?
I was so happy, and I paid for it, but I was happy to pay for it. It was the first time I was happy to feel horrible for 3 days because I was so happy to have met you, Angelique. So thank you for being in that rare club of humans, Angel,
I
that give
will
back when you have
always,
it good.
Thank you. It's very
yeah, and
sweet.
I
Thank
will always
you.
remember when I went down outside the train and I saw your face, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was so emotional. Yeah, thank you for that.
It's hard not to be. It's always bizarre, when you finally do meet each other, you're like, oh my
When we
God,
meet
we
each
are
other in Paris.
real. We're real and it feels so good. It doesn't feel awkward at all. It feels amazing. Ms. Brenda, I saved you for last 187 sessions, literally the OG of OGs. We've done fundraising together. We've traveled
Yep.
together. We've hung out many times. You are a staple in our community. What do you have to say?
Oh my gosh. I've learned
Don't make us cry,
so much from
Yeah,
this
don't make us
group.
cry.
And
please.
I mean, I didn't find you guys before my first craniotomy, but I found you right after. And with
Oh no.
losing everyone in my life, I gained a whole new family because, like, you guys got it and you understood. And, immediately I connected with Maki, who is no longer with us anymore. But I mean, one session, she sent me this care package of like comfort items and a blanket and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't even know. I never met her in person ever. Well, I did.
Well, yeah.
I did, but
When
she
she was
wasn't.
sending you gifts, you had it.
Yeah. And when she was sent, I mean, every year she sent me a birthday gift and it's just like, wow, she is. So that, and then like, I learned so much between, my first surgery and when I was having seizures. I came to the group and, I was like, oh, you're probably having seizures. You need to contact your doctor. And then I was fully prepared for my second surgery because I had so much knowledge. And, the doctors were, oh, no, you just need to do radiation. Well, it's like I've learned so much through the group, especially Terry. I mean, she literally just passed, and I got diagnosed, and they were pushing radiation, and I was like, no, And I told the radiation oncologist the story, and he's like, oh, you know, he didn't want to admit that that is actually possible.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm so grateful to this group, beyond words. And I want to continue to help fundraise and all this stuff because I believe in this peer-to-peer platform. Like, I mean, when I first got diagnosed, there was a form. It's like, would you be willing to do a support group? And I put yes and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors never even mentioned a support group. Granted, this is during the pandemic, but still, you developed this support group during the pandemic,
During
and it
the
was
pandemic,
Zoom.
I was like, well, we're all
Yeah.
stuck at home losing our minds for other reasons.
Yeah.
We also have all this stuff going on, so let's
So
give it a try.
I mean, it's been amazing. So that's yeah.
All
So
right.
I think we all have something in common to say to you, Angel, is a big thank you. Big thank you
Yes.
to made it happen, whatever you are in the world. You know, I mean, yes, we have that, but you know, on the other side, it's like we are so gifted to meet each other's
Mhm.
and having this beautiful girl named John with us. I mean, imagine it.
Poor John, our token guy. You know, you're the best.
Angelique, one of my highlights of this whole journey was I'm driving in my car. I think I'm heading home from work. I knew Angel was somewhere in Europe.
I was in France.
I get this
drinking with
phone
her.
call on my phone. I'm like, I think it said Paris, France. I'm like, what the heck, Paris, France?
Yeah, not
And
to Paris, Texas.
you were at a restaurant, I think, having wine or something. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? I'm talking to
He
two people
FaceTimed
I've
you
never
from
met before.
Paris.
Yeah.
I
That
just
was
said
so
to
fun.
Angel, I like wine, and she say, "We go. You come in."
I'm your girl. If you like
I'm your
wine and you
girl.
like to eat and you like to talk, I am totally your girl.
I confirm.
We're gonna have a great time.
Even with Maria.
I
And
gotta
then we
go,
brought Scott
everybody.
around, and that was a whole different.
Bye-bye, John. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, John. Thank you all so much. Appreciate everyone tuning in today to watch this. Love and appreciate this community. It's continuing to grow and look forward to meeting more of you on this journey so that we can all support each other and have a beautiful community in which to share
And
our
thank you,
story and
Pauline,
spread awareness.
for your confidence as well.